Okay guys, this video is strictly about hype, and I'm going off of the hype of One Piece chapter 1010, and so if you haven't read chapter 1010, now would be the time for you to bow out because I will be talking about massive spoilers, and this is one chapter that I would say you don't want to be spoiled on, so please, if you haven't read it, please leave. If you have, sub to the channel, drop a like, and let's have a good time, okay? Because we're about to go in and talk about Luffy and Zoro's new level, or their current level. Because I think based on what happened this chapter, what transpired here, there are definitely some things we can talk about. So, One Piece chapter 1010, a lot of reveals, a lot of confirmations. The first thing, and the first major thing, is Zoro. We'll start with Zoro. We've talked about Zoro's level recently, right? Just recently on this channel. And based on this chapter, of course, we have to update it because Oda has presented new information and new things. So, okay, now where do we have Zoro? So previously, we talked about Zoro being around the commanders, right? With everything he was doing on the rooftop. Remember last chapter, Zoro was able to block an attack, well, not fully, but he was able to fend off an attack for some moments from Big Mom and Kaido. Zoro did that. So we already know of his durability and his endurance and just how tough Zoro is, how skilled he is with the blade, his ferocity. He's a wild beast. But now we're getting more technical into Zoro's strength. Zoro is a confirmed Conqueror's Haki user. Granted, it's not the same way that we've seen from others. However, I want to pose this question. When have we ever seen Oden use Conqueror's Haki? That's something we've never seen, especially the way we expect it to be used with Luffy, Doflamingo, and some of these other characters in which they have Haoshoku Haki that they can knock other people out. Oden never did that. My thing is, did Oden have Conqueror's Haki, but didn't necessarily have the type that Luffy, Shanks, and some of these other individuals have where they can overwhelm people and completely knock them out? Because at that point, it's kind of insinuated that Zoro has the same type that Oden had, where he could coat his attacks in Haki, but he wasn't aware of it. There are moments in the story, for instance, when Roger used Commissary versus Oden, and Oden was surprised. He wasn't sure what that attack was. For us, we're like, it's just a regular sword swing, like you just didn't know what it was. It was something different that Oden wasn't used to, because Oden can use Ryo, and he could coat his sword, and his swords were strong enough to leave a permanent scar on Kaido. But whatever Roger did, that scared him. Well, not really scared him because he got right back up and he was ready to fight again, but he was concerned. So now getting this information, it confirms that Roger coated his blade or his attack with Conqueror's Haki, and how do you deal with that? You would assume it must be a lot. So then if we assume Zoro has the same type like Oden, where it's not necessarily too overwhelmed, but you could petrify like we've seen Zoro do before with Monet, where does this place Zoro? Well, first off, with Ashura, he was able to land, and from Kaido's words, a permanent scar. What will be a permanent scar on Kaido, using his strongest attack, 9 sword style. There's some debate about what Zoro's strongest attack is, but I mean, Ashura is an overwhelming attack. So now, knowing he has this in the bag, knowing he's mastering Enma, he now has Conqueror's Haki, and I think as the story goes on, by the time he fights Mihawk, he will know how to coat his attacks in Conqueror's. So I think when him and Mihawk meet again, Mihawk will bring it up like, oh, so you finally learned that technique. I don't know if Mihawk has Conqueror's, right? It hasn't been implied per se, but I'm sure fighting someone like Shanks, he has dealt with that in the past. So when it comes to fighting Zoro, it's not going to be something new that would overwhelm Mihawk. He's used to it, right? But to bring it back, based on all of this, where are we placing Zoro? I think Zoro is firmly among the strongest right hands, right? Around Ben Beckman, around Marco, where I'm already putting him above Marco, above Katakuri, above King. Zoro, to me, I mean, at this point, he's giving Ben Beckman a run for his money, in my opinion. And I think just these new abilities that, again, they're fresh. And what we saw from Ashura was not even a full-powered Zoro. That was the last bit of what he had, and he was severely beat up. Law even talked about it. So now, if we see a full-powered Ashura coated with Conqueror's Haki intentionally, and we also have to factor in Enma and what that provides. Come on, guys. This dude is completely obliterating a lot of people. But now that brings us to Luffy. Luffy is tussling with the Admirals and the Yonko, and they will have to go hard or they will be hurt. The thing is, in this recent chapter, what we saw from Luffy was not even anything spectacular because he has different forms and levels he can get to. Luffy was doing all of this in base. The only drawback I possibly see from Luffy and him scaling towards the upper echelon, right? When I say upper echelon, I'm talking about top of the top in regards to Roger and Whitebeard. The only thing stopping me, well, there are a lot of things stopping me, but the main thing stopping me from even having him on the level of Kaido and Big Mom saying that he could beat them 1v1, like straight up, his drawback in Haki. Right now, he's using Conqueror's Haki, advanced Conqueror's Haki, and he's coding his attacks with that, and he's using Ryo. That's amazing. That's spectacular. But Luffy has a Haki limit where he's run out of Haki several times. At this point, it seems like he's using more Haki. So if you're using more Haki, that means that your Haki pool is being drained even more. Something that I think about all the time is when they talk about Conqueror's Haki and that grows based on how you grow. There's no way to directly train it, right? For your Haki pool, how do you increase that? How do you increase how much Haki you have? Is it just having more will? Who the hell has more will than Luffy? Luffy will run into a brick wall time and time and time again if that means accomplishing what he wants to accomplish. So who has more will than that man? That's why the hockey pool and him running out of hockey is something that Oda will explain. At this point, how he got the Conqueror's Haki explanation, how that came full circle, I expect an explanation in regards to hockey and how that can run out, etc. So that's the main thing and the main drawback for me why I'm holding off on putting Luffy as, you know, Yonko caliber. But I think he's a Yonko for sure. He's confirmed as a Yonko because now they can't bully him. None of them can. And again, we've seen just the tip of the iceberg in regards to Luffy's abilities because he hasn't combined any of these with any of his gears. And so combining the Rio, combining the gears, combining the Conqueror's Haki, you're looking at a devastating opponent who has the endurance of 1 million cockroaches because he does not die. Kaido came down and clobbered Luffy with an attack coated with Conqueror's Haki, and Luffy just got up like the Undertaker, like, what? You thought we were gonna go with you? Scared the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie, but this is what Luffy does. He is somebody that continuously surpasses and exceeds expectations, and that's exactly what he did here. I'm sure for Kaido, he thought Luffy would be done. Like, Luffy was out, and he even said it. He's out. Look at him, like last time, but he's glaring at me. Luffy got right back up. Some people had an issue with it, and I'm not mad at it because he did get right back up after getting pummeled by an attack like that. And if you're saying that these attacks are potent, these attacks are top tier, how do you just get up from something like that? Because again, it's coated in Haki. Luffy's endurance and durability is not really explained. It's just like he just has the tenacity and the will to live. So if you have that, you're continuously going to come back and go against all odds, and adversity doesn't get the best of you. So it is what it is at this point. I'm enjoying One Piece right now. I wouldn't say One Piece is the best it's ever been, but One Piece is the most hype it's ever been. I don't think One Piece has ever been this hype, like Marineford maybe, but I think this is surpassing the levels of Marineford. Okay, I'm jumping the gun a little bit because of how many big players were at Marineford, but it's getting there. And if we get any more big names, any more big players, it's crazy. And I think part of it is because at Marineford, we got Revelations for sure, and we got top tiers fighting. Here, we're getting Revelations and we're having top tiers fighting, but the difference is that we're having our guy, or our guys, I should say, with Zoro and Luffy, and even extended, Kid, Killer, Law. We have our guys fighting against two current Yonko, and they are holding their own. And at this point, you might say that the advantage is on their side. So now, with all that, everything that we've explained that Luffy has in his repertoire, with the abilities, with the tenacity, with the will, where do we place Luffy? Again, I think Luffy's above Ben Beckman. I think Luffy's above Sabo. I think Luffy currently is the strongest pirate that's not a Yonko. Behind Mihawk, obviously. I think Mihawk is still stronger, but I think other than Mihawk, Luffy's the strongest pirate that's not a Yonko. Aokiji is a special case because I view him as a revolutionary, or rather somebody that's undercover who could still be a Marine, a member of Sword even. Behind Aokiji, behind Mihawk, we're looking right at Luffy, where I think the Admirals could still take him, but he's getting there, man. Especially with the arrogance, right? Where he's face to face with Kaido of the 100 Beasts, and he's saying, go down, guys. I got this. Tell them that I got this, which is kind of like what he said about Katakuri. We told him, yo, I'll take care of Katakuri. Don't worry about it. And Luffy feels like he's figured it out. Like he's found something. He's found a way to overcome Kaido, and he can basically match Kaido and even surpass him because he can do more than Kaido can do. Back in the Luffy versus Katakuri fight, Katakuri could do a lot more than he can. In this fight, it's crazy to say, but Luffy can do more than Kaido can. Of course, Kaido has so many abilities, right? But in regards to top tier techniques and combining things with Ryo, Conqueror's Haki, and the abilities from his Devil Fruit, Luffy is staring down a Yonko and he's not backing down, and I'm loving it right now. But guys, Luffy above every right hand, obviously. The strongest pirate that's not a Yonko other than Mihawk and Aokiji. And for Zoro, he's right there with Ben Beckman for me. And maybe, I don't know, based on my bias, could surpass Ben Beckman by the end of the arc. I don't know, because I don't think Zoro is done. But guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about Zoro and Luffy's current level? Because I think after this chapter, they completely leveled up, because now you can somewhat quantify their abilities, and it's scary. I don't know what they're gonna do with these guys post Wano, because whew, when these two guys land on an island, y'all better leave immediately. And I'm talking about the Marines. But guys, give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Thanks to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Guys, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.